Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about Zoey 101. Let's get into the video. Okay, Zoey 101 was a cultural reset, a show that made boarding school look like paradise, turned scooters into status symbols, and had every kid wanting to move to California. But the dreamy world of Pacific Coast Academy had a dark side. From sudden cancellations to personal scandals, this is the downfall of Zoey 101. Let's get into the rise of Zoey 101. Premiering in 2005, Zoey 101 was one of Nickelodeon's most expensive live-action shows. Created by Dan Snyder, the series followed Zoe Brooks, played by Jamie Lynn Spears, as she navigated life at the fictional Pacific Coast Academy, a boarding school that was basically every kid's dream. Stylish characters, early 2000s themes, beachside dorms. It was the definition of aspirational. Jamie Lynn wasn't just Zoey. She was Britney Spears' little sister, which I did not know about until later on. And her rising fame helped the show soar. By the time season 3 rolled around, Zoey 101 was pulling in millions of viewers and had solidified its place as a Nickelodeon staple. Jamie Lynn Spears quickly became a star in her own right as Britney Spears' younger sister. She was already in the spotlight, but Zoey 101 made a name of her own. The rest of the original cast gained majority popularity too. Sean Flynn as Chase, the awkward curly-haired heartthrob. Victoria Justice as Lola, who would later star in Victorious. Matthew Underwood, Christopher Massey, and Aaron Sanders, Alexa Nicholas, they were all teen icons. The cast went on mall tours, press junkets, and were regulars in Tiger Beat and Popstar magazines. But as the fame rose, so did the pressure, and things behind the scenes weren't always what they seemed. Now, let's get into the exit of Nicole. One of the first signs that something was off came with the sudden disappearance of Nicole, Zoey's quirky, bubbly roommate. In season 2, Nicole was a main character, but in season 3, she was gone. No real goodbye, no full explanation, just replaced by Victoria Justice's character Lola. Years later, Alexa Nicholas, who played Nicole, spoke out. She shared that she was bullied on set, allegedly by Jamie Lynn Spears, and did not feel protected or supported by production. In fact, Alexa claimed that after speaking up about the bullying, she was pushed off the show. The situation sparked conversation years later when Alexa and Jamie Lynn had a public back and forth on social media. It was one of the first cracks in the perfect PCA illusion. This is where it gets juicy. In late 2007, news broke that 16-year-old Jamie Lynn Spears was pregnant. It was major. Headlines were everywhere. For a network that targeted kids and teens, the scandal was too hard to navigate.
You're going behind the scenes with the cast of Zoey 101.
Though Zoey 101 had already wrapped filming its final season, the timing made many fans believe the show was canceled because of the pregnancy. Nickelodeon said Jamie Lynn wanted to focus on her personal life and education, but the narrative was messy. She received judgment from the public, the media, and even parents of the fans. It marked a turning point, not just for Jamie Lynn, but for how child stars were handled in media. For years, people debated, was the show really over because it ran its course, or was it PR damage control? Next, another key feature in this story is Dan Snyder, the creator of Zoey 101. In 2016, Nickelodeon and Snyder officially parted ways. The move followed years of rumors, accusations, and a toxic work environment, and concerns raised by former cast and crew members across multiple shows. While Snyder hasn't been publicly charged with anything criminal, reports from the New York Times and Business Insider raised eyebrows about inappropriate behavior and lack of accountability. As people rewatched old Zoey 101 episodes, they began noticing odd patterns, suggestive jokes, strange close-ups, and weird dynamics. It made fans reflect differently on a show that they once saw as carefree and fun. While Zoey 101 hasn't been directly linked to specific misconduct, the broader context of Snyder's influence on Nickelodeon adds another layer to the show's complex legacy. Let's get into the life after PCA. After the show ended, the cast went in very different directions. Victoria Justice went on to lead Victorious and had a brief music career. Sean, which was Chase, stepped away from acting, and Christopher Michael did smaller roles. Jamie Lynn moved to Mississippi to raise her daughter and then later returned with roles in Sweet Magnolia and reality TV. But not everyone stayed close. Alexa Nicholas became an outspoken advocate for a child's actor's right and called out Nickelodeon repeatedly. Even years later, there's clear tension between former castmates. For a show about friendship and loyalty, the off-screen reality wasn't quite as picture perfect. Now getting into the reboot that did not happen. In 2023, Zoey 102 premiered on Paramount Plus, but not everyone came back. Nicole was not invited. Dustin, Zoey's little brother, was not either, which is weird because they're part of the main cast. The tone felt off. Reviews were mixed. While some fans loved the throwback, others felt like it did not live up to the magic of the original. It raised questions. Did we need this reboot, or were we just chasing the past? But with all that being said, this show was kind of iconic for its time. Zoey 101 was more than just a show. It was a moment in pop culture. It gave us fashion inspo, character crushes, iconic comebacks, and a soundtrack of our youth. But behind the dreamy dorms of Pacific Coast, sunsets were real people, real pressure, and real fallouts. The legacy of Zoey 101 is complicated, but maybe that's why we still talk about it, because sometimes the show we loved growing up says more about who we were than we realized at the time. Thank you for tuning in to my video and let me know who I should do next. Make sure to like and subscribe.